Welcome back to the LusoCAD for Beginners course by Structural Academy. Now that we have learned how to draw using the line command in LusoCAD, it's time for us to understand the concept of polylines in the program. To illustrate the difference between lines and polylines, let's use the line command to create a square geometry. We will activate ortho mode to draw only completely horizontal or vertical lines. As explained in the previous chapter, we draw lines of equal length with a 90-degree angle, creating a square. Now that we finish the square, we press Enter and enter the Polyline command, which is PL. Let's now use the Polyline command to create an identical square as before. And let's see what difference we can notice. Well, first of all, when we select the first square, we can select one or multiple lines of the square, as they are independent. And when we try doing the same with the second square, we notice that we can only select the entire square, as it's a complete object. Let's use the list command, which allows us to see the properties of a selection. We write LI on the model view, and select our squares. We press Enter to see the results. As we can see, the second square is denoted as a polyline, and it's detected as one object. It will also tell us the area of the square. Meanwhile, when we use the list command on the first square, we get properties of each independent line, meaning it is not detected as a square, but as four lines. We can now understand why the Polyline command could be useful. Let's imagine a situation where we would want to move this square, using the Move command. We type M and select the polyline square. As just by selecting a portion of the square, it is completely selected, we can easily move the square. But let's try moving the original square by just selecting the same portion. Suddenly we just moved two lines, essentially separating the square and failing at moving the whole square. This might seem like an easy thing to work around, as when we select the whole square we can correctly move it, but consider large intricate drawings which don't offer us the same ease to select individual lines. Having to select each and every line in a complex geometry could waste a lot of our time and energy. We have here another way lines and polylines differ, by their behavior under the offset command, which creates parallel lines inside or outside the square, in this case. By writing OF we activate the offset command. We have to first write an offset distance. Now we select the lines we want to offset. You will notice that we can offset the square made of lines only by offsetting each and every line. On top of that, the offset lines will intersect, creating a different and unwanted result. We would have to trim the extra lines out of the square, meaning we are taking double the time to get the same result. But, just by clicking once, we can offset all sides of the polyline square, and we don't have to trim anything. Now, let's take our attention away from the squares and activate the Polyline command once more. Let's select our first point and look at the command line for a moment. We see that the Polyline command has a series of subcommands that we have not explored. Let's see what the arc subcommand does. We draw a straight line and then type the letter A to activate the arc subcommand. And just like that, an arc has been applied to our line, with a 90-degree angle since we are using ortho mode. Let's disable it for a second to get further freedom with the command. We see that we can change the diameter and angle of the arc. To apply the arc, just click on the point we want to use as an endpoint, or write a coordinate as we already saw with the line command. When we create a first arc, another one will be created, letting us keep drawing arcs until we want to stop, by using the Enter or Escape keys. As we just demonstrated, both line and polyline commands are useful and necessary in most drawings, and they are each pertinent to different situations. Further on in the course, we will show you a way to convert lines into polylines and vice versa, so stay tuned and keep practicing your LusoCAD skills.